Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachna. Today I am going to talk about all the good books that I read last year, the best books. I didn't read that much as other booktubers would read, but I read a total of I think 13 books, and out of that, few were extremely good and few were rereads. So I will tell you only about the books which I actually extremely liked. So, oh fuck, I okay, I rubbed my eyes and the eyeliner got everywhere. Anyways, the first book which I want to talk about is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my first Taylor Jenkins read, and definitely not my last, because I extremely, absolutely loved it. So, this book is, I'm not going to tell you what it's about, which you can easily find online. So, I'm going to tell you my views about it without spoilers. So, what I actually liked about this book is that it's so simple and sweet, and I read it exactly at a time where I had to read this book. Sometimes books do that to you, where you read certain books at a certain point in your life and you feel that like this is exactly what you had to read at that point in your life. This book was that for me, and I love the ending of this book. It made so much sense, and um, it's not like a typical ending which I felt is, but it was something that I extremely loved, and I really like how she writes, and I really like the characters of this book. I mean, no one were actually that bad or negative as well. Everyone were really realistic, and it was not that fairy tale-ish as well. It was really nice and simple and sweet, and I finally know who Emma chooses. So finally got some peace of mind because I know now who she chose, and I'm happy with her decision. I totally agree with her decision, because even I would have done the same thing. So yeah, so this book is something that I really liked, and I liked a lot of quotes in this book. So you can see that I how I've annotated it. So love this book. So this is one book which I read. The next book is Be a Triangle by Lily Singh. So I heard I listened to the audiobook first, and on Audible, and I absolutely loved it. Like, it was so good that I immediately ordered the book and I read it, and I would have listened to the audiobook like two, three, four times, and I must have read the book two times. So that's how much I loved it. I loved how she spoke about certain things, and how um, she was so honest, and she was so candid in this book. That's what I really liked about this book. And you can see that I've annotated it so much because I extremely, absolutely love this book, and I actually like Lily Singh a lot. I like this book more than How to Be a Boss, actually, um, because there's so much of wisdom in this book, so much of concepts that which is actually really good. um, and I love her view on meditation, how she talks about meditation is just not like sitting cross-legged and thinking about God. It can also be listening to music or doing something that you like, that is also called as meditation. And I also love the concept where she talks about how we should not follow the social norms and do whatever we feel like doing, because at the end of the day, we are what matters. And I love how she talks about we have to forgive people, and a lot of other things that she talks about. I don't remember it that much because I read it in the middle of the year. So I have been through so much after that. So don't exactly remember everything, but I do remember certain things which I spoke about right now. And I would say that this book is a gem, and I loved it so much. So love her as well more than how much I loved her after reading this book. So, good book. This third book that I read, I actually reread the book. I've already read this book. I've already listened to the audiobook long back, but I had to reread it because I felt like rereading it. So I finished it within a day, I guess. The book is Atomic Habits by James Clear, and this book is gold. I cannot recommend this book enough because this book actually is something so good that I kind of feel like reading it again and again and again, no matter how many times I read it. This is a non-fiction, obviously, and certain concepts about this book is so good. I know it's all over the place, and some people would have most of the people would have already read it, so I'm not going to like go into the details about the book and the contents of it. But what I will say is that it's a very good book, and something which is worth reading by every individual in this world. Yeah. Even, I mean, like, most of my books which I like, I might feel that some people might not like it, but this book is something that everyone can read and everyone would enjoy, uh, from all walks of life. So yeah, so this is a book which I really liked, and I would like to talk about this book, Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. So I read this in the New Year time, like start like last year New Year time. So this book changed my life. uh, I was the kind of person who was like, not happy with dating and stuff, because no matter how many dates I went on, it just didn't like um end well or go well, and I almost gave up on dating. That's when I read this book and listened to the audiobook, and I was like, it completely changed me, and it made me feel like I need to focus on right here, right now. That's what I actually did last year, and I am so proud of myself that this I did that. And this book actually changed me for good, and I would like to thank Nicola Yoon for writing this book, because this is something that is extremely close to my heart, and I cannot recommend this book enough. This is a really good book, but I don't know if everyone will enjoy it because it's a romance, YA book, but very good book. It changed me, and it changed me for good, and I read it at exactly the right time that I had to read it, and I cannot recommend this book enough. Very good book. So the next book which I want to talk about is Heartstopper. You must have seen me reading it in the vlog. I read it again, actually. I've already read this book, Heartstopper Volume 1. I read it last year. And um, and you already know what I think about it, because I just don't know. This book is something that's close to my heart and will always be. It always brings a smile on my face. It's so cute. It's like honey oozing out of cake or something like that. It's like the sweetest thing ever in this world. Yeah. I don't know, it makes me feel so in love and so like mushy and so like melting when I read it. Like, I don't know, like you can see from the goofy smile on my face how much I love this book. That's how much I love it. So yeah, cannot recommend it enough. I love Charlie, I love Nick, I love everyone in this book, and I just love Heartstopper. So this is something that I read last year, and again, so I totally enjoyed it. And I would like to speak about another book which I read. It's called as Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This book is just like Love in Other Words, and but it's quite different as well. Like, the concept is from there, but it has its own. It's more like a cousin to Love in Other Words. So I love how she talks about the beach house And I love the examples that she gives in the book, very good. And considering the fact that she's never written a book before, and then this is the first book that she's written, she's done an amazing job. And I cannot tell you, she's done a really brilliant job in writing, and she inspires me to write my own book. Someday I will. Coming from a background where she's never actually written a book and then she wrote it, so kudos to her. So this is actually a very good book. I love the ending as well, where it's so realistic, and it takes a lot of courage as well, for the main character. I think his name is Sam, um, to do what he did in the end. Yeah, it's not easy. Like, it just tells you how people make mistakes in life, and how do you see that mistake in a relationship. And even though there is a mistake, you grow past it, together. And that's what it is, right? Like, relationship, love, marriage, nothing is perfect, but how much you love each other, how much you're like willing to work towards towards the, I mean, work together is what matters, right? Like, how much you're willing to work together, how much respect you have for each other, how much you're willing to compromise in a relationship, as long as there is love. So that's what it talks about. And even though it's like love, in other words, I would say Kali Fortune has done an extremely good job in writing a book of her own. And I would say you have to read this book. It's a really good book. So yeah. And another book which I read is Love in Other Words, which is my favorite book, one of my favorite book, because Elliot. I don't know if a guy like Elliot exists in real world, and if he does, please find me because I am looking for you. uh, I cannot tell you how much I love that book. It brings a smile on my face every time I think about that book. I mean, their love for reading, and main character Macy is so sweet. And more than Macy, I think I like Elliot a lot. I just love Elliot. I cannot tell you how much. And right from the beginning, I know that they belong together, and they are two people who met, and you know for a fact that they belong together forever. So it's kind of like that. Like, they belong together, they are made for each other. That's what made for each other soulmates. And all these destiny and all that speaks about, it's two people like Elliot and Macy. That's what destiny is like. Meeting someone like Elliot is something that I would want. Yeah. I wish I was lucky enough to meet my Elliot, but yeah. uh so and Friends to Lovers is like my favorite trope, so I totally enjoyed this book, and I enjoy the fact that they love reading. And this is such a cute book. And how Elliot pursues Macy, that is also something that I really loved. So, very good book. I would totally recommend it, and I would say that it's one of my favorite book. I just love romance novels, and this is like one of my favorite book. So, very very good book. And then last year I read three books by Emily Henry. You and Me on Vacation, Book Lovers, and Beach Read. So I started off with Book Lovers, and I would say that it was a small town romance, and this was like my first Emily Henry book, and I totally enjoyed it. And I read these three books by listening to the audiobook at the same time. I listened to the audiobook in the 1.25 or 1.5 speed and read it. That's like my reading pace. And Book Lovers was amazing. Small town romance, very good book. Lot of good things to remember. And Beach Read was also amazing. And I think my favorite is You and Me on Vacation, because my favorite trope is Friends to Lovers. So I totally enjoyed You and Me and Vacation more than Book Lovers and Beach Read. But I would say Book Lovers and You and Me and Vacation is like my two favorite, most favorite books of Emily Henry. And I'm waiting for Happy Place actually. Yeah, cannot wait for her books actually. Like, I just love her. I think she's got a talent and she's using it well. Whatever talent she has in writing a book which is so realistic and so um like it's not like this fairy tale-ish book that you read about. It's more like so realistic, and she has her own touch to her books, which is actually really good. She is so talented in writing, I cannot tell you. Her books are like really really good, and if you love a good romance novel, you will totally enjoy this book. These three books has its own storyline and its own ending, and the way she writes it and the tiny things that makes it stand out. All the three books are amazing, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's really good book. All the three are really really good. So that's something that I read last year. And what else did I read, which is actually good? Yeah, another book which is actually good, which I actually listened to on Audible. I don't really have the physical copy because there was no physical copy in India when I was searching for it. I don't know if it's there right now, but it was not there, so I listened to it on Audible. It's called Hello, Goodbye, and Everything in Between. So there was a movie coming out with the same name with Jordan Fisher in it, and I was like, I have to read this book because I wanted to read the book before watching the movie. That's how it is. So Jordan Fisher is like my favorite, so I was like, okay, let me just read the book. So I didn't find the book, so I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook is pretty good. I love the ending of the book. The ending is like so amazing. It's a really, really cute book. I wouldn't say it's something that actually is the best, but it's actually very cute, and it will leave you feeling good at the end. And I don't remember it much, but I would say it's a really good book, worth reading, and it's a very very good book. So yeah, these are the books which I read last year, which is actually really really good. I hope you enjoyed watching my video. If you did, please do subscribe to my channel, and like, share, comment as well, because it's all free and it would make me happy. I'll see you again with another video next time. Until then, bye.